Hey guys, how's everyone? Luis Mendoza here from Sip and Learn San Diego, Century 21 Award, Luis Mendoza and Associates. And like I said, my commitment through this whole crisis and coronavirus is to bring everyone up to date on what's really going on, and then also at the same time of help interviewing people and having people speakers to find out why. What do you call it? What's going on with our current economy and everything. Last week, we had David Romero from Century 21 Award, and also Frank Fuentes. We talked a little bit about what we see with the market, what happened, what's going on, and where we're going, right? But this time, I'm having as a guest Ted. Ted, Rancho Ted. Everyone knows him through the benches. You know, Rancho Ted. Love the guy, even though he's a Red Sox fan. I'll bring it up right away. I'm a Yankee fan, but we get along pretty well. And Ted had
old neighbors.
We're neighbors. We're old neighbors in Little Italy, man.
Yeah.
Good day. And I like to say it. I got the coronavirus just in case, you know. So for a little sip and learn. So I just. Here with Ted, and with Ted, tell us a little more about your background. You've been in the industry for quite a while and different.
Yeah, the years are flying. I've been in it since 91.
91. Started in 91, Ted.
How did I start?
What did you start doing?
Believe it or not, briefly in the hard money industry, but I didn't stay in it too long. I actually got into more conventional lending, and I was doing conventional loans up until 2008. And then he switched over back to private money full time. So it's been quite an adventure as far as the conventional world, and the hard money's a much better animal, a lot more common sense in the lending. So it makes it a lot more fun now.
Yeah, you've been doing what? Rancho Ted, hard money loans since when?
Probably around 2010, the brand came out. And that happened because I was getting on Facebook, LinkedIn, and what was the other one? Twitter. And a friend of mine said, you should brand yourself. And at the time, I was working for Rancho Financial.
Yeah.
They own a ranch. So he says, why don't you call yourself Rancho Ted? And that's when Rancho Ted began.
Tell us about the little the ranch that you have over there in Alpine, right?
Yeah. So it's 20 acres on top of Viejas Mountain. So the views are spectacular. There's nothing around, so it's extremely quiet. So there's a lot of animals running around. I saw my first mountain lion on Monday. Pretty exciting stuff there. I was in the car, though, so that was good.
My wife is scared of them.
What's that?
My wife is scared of them like crazy, you know?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not walking around anymore. I'll just drive around. But the place is beautiful. It's we'll have some concerts out there, so down the road we'll get you up there.
Sorry. You know, it's funny. I think we're having like a little birthday celebration outside. The new COVID-19 right here in my neck. So if you guys hear that, someone's celebrating a birthday out there right in the middle of the webinar.
That's the new way.
So my wife just confirmed it. But anyway, guys, so Ted, tell me, what do you think about this whole situation? How do you see everything right now?
Right.
What are from you've experienced 9/11, you've experienced 2008 crash. What do you see right now? What do you think? What are you? You talk to a lot of owners of real estate companies, you lenders.
Yeah.
Talk to a lot of investors. What are you saying?
I'll tell you what, as the years go on, after 30 years, you kind of get a feel for it, after seeing all what you just talked about. Just my opinion is it doesn't feel like values are going to go anywhere. We're doing purchases right now, but people do have the fear of lending, because when you do private money, it's your own money. So you have private investors. So they're a little bit more concerned, and so the loan to values have dropped a little bit. Normally 70% is the number, and there may be some deals that still do 70, but 65 seems to be a number that makes people more comfortable. And if you put it at 60, they'll do it all day. But it's no problem finding money. It is, obviously not as, some people are holding their money back just in case they feel things are going to get worse. So they'll have some liquidity if they need to use money. So, but in general, it's not really affected me too much. It's been pretty good business wise.
A lot of people are asking us in the industry, like yourself and myself, I'm sure, hey man, I'm sure you're dead, you're not busy, basically they feel bad for us, but we're actually, I think the people that have been around for a while and do the business are doing the business.
No doubt. I have a friend of mine, she works in the office where I do, she's a realtor, and she's overwhelmed with business, man. She just had like 2 new listings and 2 new buyers. I mean, she's just like losing her mind. Well, I guess things can't be too bad if it's that busy for you. So, so you're right. People who are been in the business a while are certainly not slowing down. At least I don't see it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest deals that it's the perception that you take, right? For me, I always say this is my type of market. It gets a lot of people out that a robust economy. You get people think that real estate's easy, lending's easy.
Yeah.
It makes it a little harder for all of us to conduct business. I hate to say it, it's going to have a lot of people. There's a statistic I think we talked about last week that I don't know if you heard of it. It's 1.8 million people that 1.8 million realtors were in the industry prior to COVID-19, and they are saying $500,000 are going to be out post this. And
wow.
I think it's going to be probably another $200,000 added to that. I mean, 200,000 people added to that. So it just tells you that the strong will survive, and that's why we're doing the sip and learns, education, and everything else. So your typical loan, hard money loan, when people say hard money, people say, well, what does that mean? The consumer's asking, well, it cost me an arm and a leg, or what is it? Give us a feeling for it. What's your typical person right now that comes to you and says, hey, Ted, you know what? I got a situation. Well, give us a scenario.
Right, sure. You couldn't put it any better. I really look at myself, and somebody had said this before. You're really a situational lender, just like you said. You got a situation. So I just have a lady who wants to buy this incredible piece of property up in Northern California. That's out near Redding. I mean, it's in the boonies, man. But she's not going to get regular financial a lender to go over there. So she does own some properties that one's free and clear. And so the purchase price on that's like $465, and she has a property that's worth $300. So she's just going to put down like 10%. We're going to cross it with the other property. It's a nice safe loan for us. It's probably like 50% loan to value. So that's a situation where this person found an opportunity, ain't going to get a conventional loan. We step in and help them get the financing.
And what kind of loan, Ted? What kind of terms do you usually give? Is it people always ask me, hey, is a hard money loan like just a year, 5 years?
Or the standard's really 2 years, but investors want to keep their money out. Some of them do, not all of them. So sometimes you go 3 years, and we've can go up to 7 years.
Okay. And
so it's a long time.
Typically, what kind of interest rates?
It's all over the board. When before this little hiccup in our economy, the rates were from like 6 to 9%, but all those funds have kind of gone away, and now it's really private investors like yourself or myself or general public that lend money. The rates are really between 8 and 9% right now on residential.
And then, so tell me a little bit about, what happened right after this, the lending. What usually happens? The banks will start saying, hey, you know what? We're going to go with your typical 720 FICO score, no jumbo loans. Tell me how you helped out some clients, some consumers, some agents out there on a situation like the non-QM loans.
Say that one more time,
The
Luis.
non-QM loans. How did you help them out? How did you help out the clients? How did you help out
Well, the people that were in the non-QM and they got wiped out. Yeah, that was a pretty bad scene, man. There was a lot of people that were in escrow, and just really we're right with the non-QMs. It's just our rates are a little bit higher because non-QM can go like 4%, 5%, and they'll do like a 30-year with a 3-year prepay. So we just stepped in and really just took over the loans. It wasn't really anything that difficult. It's just it's all about loan to value. If there's equity, we can get the loans done no matter what the situation is.
What kind of LTV are you looking for? Something like that?
70% is usually the max, but it's getting a little tricky on some of that stuff. But that doesn't mean we still can't do 70% or less. You do 60%, it's a done deal, no problem.
Hey, what's it called? What's been one of your give me one of your hardest deals that you saved somebody? Because I know you've done that a lot. It's basically
Well, I got some deals that it's one time I got a call on a Thursday and the guy said, "Hey, I need like $250,000 by Tuesday." And he said, "I'm buying
5 p.m. right?"
He was buying a plane.
Oh.
And I said, "Wow," and he said, "If you can't do it by Tuesday, then the deal's off," because he was buying it from, I think, Thailand or something like that, and that's what he does for a living. He buys planes, and so fortunately, he had a property that was free and clear at Scripps Ranch that was worth $450,000, and we were able to close it on a Tuesday. And be honest with you, it's really not that difficult. It's really good just to get the title report, quickly draw the docs. It's a good loan, and the investor will be all over it. So three business days we were able to close that, and that was unique, buying a plane. So we bought the plane.
For a deal like that, you're saying, hey, what kind of assets you have, what kind of properties you have, and you have a property, we definitely can help you out for a quick solution, right?
Right. And one thing I want to point out, it's I was talking about the deal earlier, but I've done deals where people come in with no money. When people have equity in other properties, you just cross it. I did one up in Sacramento where the prices are real low, but this guy had a property free and clear at $150,000. He wanted to buy this property for $250,000, and he had no money down. And I had done some deals for him before, so I knew the borrower. I said, "Don't worry, man. We'll just cross with the other property. Combined, we have $400,000 in real estate. We lent $250,000 at 63% loan to value. So he bought the property with no money down."
That's pretty good. And will you tell me something about equity lines? Because equity lines will probably be frozen up coming up, kind of like 2008. Remember, they cut equity lines credit like right away and stuff like that. What will you tell me?
I'll tell you the worst thing. Yeah, I was, but I remember the worst thing about the equity lines is when they come due and you can't get another loan.
Yeah, right.
That was the worst. Everybody in 2016 had that problem because they all got them in 2006. And nobody could get a loan, so they've actually put you in foreclosure. It was crazy, man. So a little challenging time for some people. But yeah, we do. I've come across an investor, and I didn't think it actually existed, but it's an equity line that goes up to $5 million.
Wow.
The rates are between 9 and 10%. They've cut the loan to values back to 60%. But what a great way to use a loan to do construction.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, you get the construction loan. All you have to do is borrow for your equity. You don't have to get the fund, the draws, and wait for somebody to come and check it out. So great way.
You're your own bank, right? You're your own.
Yeah.
That's the best part about it.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's hard. Yeah.
I can imagine the taxes, I could help you out because, you're basically constructing with your own money and everything else is your own bank type of deal and everything else. What, Ted, like I said, you're Mr. Networker. That's how we met, right?
I'm Mr. Zoom now, Mr. Teddy Zoom.
Exactly. I was Mr. Networker, back before I got married, right? And then
Yes.
I had kids.
I remember seeing you, and for 5 years you were gone. Yeah.
People were going, "Hey, where's Luis Mendoza?" Right?
Yeah.
That I didn't make it, but I was happy to say that I became a father and great kids and everything. Started my family, but you talk to a lot of like attorneys. You talk to a lot of people out there networking, real estate,
Yeah.
different types of industry.
Yes.
What do you see with the people? What do you see with the people on what they're, what they sense on this crisis?
You know, well, let me just talk a little bit about investors, right? I have some investors that are just, they're not doing anything. And then you have some investors that they're not worried at all. So you get a little bit of both. And I'm sure that's happening with everybody, though. You've got people are on both sides, but more people, I think, are thinking this isn't going to be too bad as far as real estate goes. I'm not sure about some of the other stuff, unfortunately, with the restaurants and all that stuff. That's a challenging situation there. But as far as I know, most people, it's not going to be too bad. I think on the real estate, everything else I can't really say.
Mm-hmm. So for you, basically clients could be two different type of clients, right? Or many different kinds of clients. You can have the actual consumer that needs your help, but also you can bring in investors or looking for a good return on investment, right?
Tell you what, man, it's an incredible way to invest money. As you know, the stock market goes up and down. Unfortunately.
Did you see today? They announced that April was the best month in 3 decades that, Wall Street had. Well, that's not what we were saying, like 3 months ago,
Yeah.
It's like a heart attacks that you get, going up and
Going
down.
up and down, yeah. So this is it's pretty hard to lose your money. I always tell people, I think the only way you lose your money is by wiring it. Better make sure who you're wiring it to, because that's the way you'll lose it. You won't lose it in the trust deeds. If you've got a good appraisal and a good loan to value, it's almost impossible. So it's a great way. It's the rates are 8 to 9%. You get a check every month, so you're basically the bank, and you get collateral where you can be protected if something does go wrong.
Now, quick question: What's like your biggest issue that you've had right now during the crisis? Like appraisal, for example. I had an appraisal issue 3 weeks ago, and it was a property that we got a 559 accepted. They had a appraisal at 559 2 weeks before, and we just closed at 520 on Monday. And this is like COVID transaction per se, COVID-19 transaction, that's what I call it. So have you had those headaches too?
No, the only headache I have right now is a deal with the client whose father lives in China. And so he has to go sign loan docs at the U.S. Embassy.
It's close.
And the guy told me that it's like driving from San Diego to Minnesota. So he's afraid to take a plane. He doesn't want to take a plane, so he's going to drive, and he leaves tomorrow. And it's going to take 4 days to get over there, at least for him.
And is the embassy open?
Yeah, well, I better be. I need to go all the way and not be closed, man.
The reason why is, like, I do a lot of stuff Mexico, U.S. binational stuff, and my issue right now, I have a deal in Vegas that my clients have to sign loan docs, and the actual embassy is closed. So they closed the embassy. So that's the only place where you can notarize something.
That's not your famous Las Vegas deal I've known for a while, is it?
Vegas deal, man. My famous Las Vegas deal, Ted.
Okay, I've heard about that one. It's
after headaches, It's like, geez. We'll see how the market. Hey, speaking of Las Vegas, so you do business not just San Diego, but you do it like where?
Yeah, all over the country. Well, private investors, if you if you learn as I do, you can really just do California. You need a fund actually to go around the country. So I've connected with a lot of funds now that can do deals in pretty much anywhere in the country. The crazy thing is, I didn't realize I had this power, but through my power of networking, I've found sources to do large deals. And I might have told you about this one, but I got a 70 million deal in the works.
Yeah, you
which,
did.
Yeah, so pretty exciting when you get a deal with 1 point on that, 700,000. But who's counting?
I know who's buying the next Yankees Red Sox series tickets.
I have no problem if that thing closes. I'll buy it.
Well, I don't know if I want to go to New York or Boston right now, to be honest with you.
No, Jesus. My friend lives there, you know. He lives right in New York City, and he's been giving me the updates.
And what does he say?
Well, it seems, you know, getting better, obviously, but yeah, no, he says it's deserted, you know. Yeah, he doesn't really do much, you know. They just stay in their house or go on the roof. That's it.
Like Vegas.
Like Vegas?
Yeah, Vegas is
pretty much, yeah.
You know, all those casinos, everything else is just horrible.
Oh, I can't believe that. You know, that's one unbelievable. Vegas, it's got to be one of the worst hit as far as financially, you know, but they got a lot of money, so they should be okay.
Yeah, they're crying wolf. But, you know, I think the biggest issue with Vegas and that, you know, being with that commercial deal that I have over there is that what I've learned is that the mayor and the governor don't like each other. So it's a lot of this like political, you know, clashing.
Yeah.
You know, someone's going to say when you're going to open, and then it's kind of like a lot of politics and everything. So we need to, you know, figure that out in Vegas. And I saw a meme the other day. You know, we're really in trouble when God closes the churches and the devil closes Vegas. That's, you know, never thought about
That's
that.
pretty good. Very good, Luis.
So we'll see. It's kind of interesting, you know. So,
yeah.
And Ted, why are you a Red Sox fan, man? And a Patriots fan?
Well, it's when you're born and raised in the greatest sports city in the country, it just happens, brother. I mean, but we did have a rough start growing up with the Red Sox. I'll tell you what, you have no idea how much we don't like you Yankee fans with a passion.
Hey, so you're saying that San Diego's not the greatest sports city in the world?
I'm saying that I don't like Yankee fans. That's what I just said. Now, you know what, San Diego, you know how I ended up in San Diego?
Oh.
Growing up, I used to watch the Chargers, man. And oh my God, Dan Fouts and all them. And I used to be 4 o'clock, dark out, and over there watching the Chargers, people in shorts and sunny. And I was like, man, that looks like the place to live. So literally, when I finished college, I just drove in my car and moved out here. So the Chargers had a lot to do with me moving out here, and I'm very grateful.
That's your typical San Diego story. You know, it's like, where are you from? Chicago. Or Green Bay, for example, Wisconsin. Yeah. You know, I'm from Wisconsin. Why'd you move over here? We watched the Super Bowl, and after that, it was sunny. We just grabbed our bags.
It just looks like a better place.
Spring break, and we moved. And now here's a question. Why is it that everyone from Boston that moves here, no one can answer this, they end up in Ocean Beach first? Is there like a sign in Boston when you leave the plane and it says, hey, welcome, and go to Ocean Beach? You know, right?
So one of the bizarre things when I moved to San Diego was I moved to Mission Beach, Ocean Beach, Pacific Beach. That's where all the Bostonians go. Well, the one thing I couldn't believe, there was no downtown. I remember going downtown and I'm like, what's going on here, man? And I thought it was bizarre, like there's no downtown. And I used to tell people, and they're like, and it's been amazing to watch the city grow. It's been exciting actually to see downtown, and now all the other things that are happening down at the Seaport Village and all that. The Embarcadero, did you go down there? They built that new for bands and everything. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy how it's growing on that part in that area. It's really sad about the cruise ship industry, right? And I mean,
I've never been on one.
we were
I've never been on one. I wouldn't know.
I've been wanting to go. I've been on one, but my wife refuses. She's like, she goes, no way. And after this coronavirus deal, she goes, see, everyone gets something if you go in there.
You know, I had a friend who was getting on the boat on February 26th
Oh,
to go on a cruise. And I'm thinking to myself, and she's going with her parents who are in their 80s. And
oh,
this was just before really. And I'm thinking, oh man, and they just got it in and out before the whole thing hit, and everything was fine. So,
oh man, no, it's like,
yeah,
talk about industries are going to need some help. There's a lot of them. It's the cruise ship is one of them. The hotel industry. Hey, let's go back. Give me an example. For example, foreign nationals. I know you've helped some people on doing some loans like Pacific Gate. I've sold in Pacific Gate in the past. People from Mexico City, and what about
China.
yeah, right? Because the Chinese can't bring their money. So tell me a little bit. Give me an example of a transaction that you did this, so the consumer knows that there's a will, there's a way. That's what I always say. Some people say,
"There's a will, there's a way."
Yeah, if there's a will, there's a way. It's like some people say that, oh, it'll never be done, and I'm the opposite. If I haven't tried it and I haven't failed, I didn't try. That's what approach. So tell us a little bit about a transaction like that.
Sure. When I hear that it's a foreign national, I'm like, well, I know it's definitely a loan because I know they don't have taxes, so they're not getting the bank loan. And we're not concerned about credit. So believe it or not, it's pretty darn simple to do a foreign national from any country. I've never had a problem with an investor. They put down 30%. It's a done deal, pretty much. There's not
30% down, and then go from there.
Yeah, there's no credit, there's no taxes. But when people put down a large sum of money, and in San Diego, you have to do that, right? So you got $1 million property, they put down 300, nobody's walking away,
Yeah.
So it's that simple, really.
So you would do like a short-term loan, not short-term, a hard money loan for 2 years, and then
2 years, 3 years, yeah.
Meanwhile, they try to figure out their finances here in America, and then finance later on.
Yeah, some of that, some are fortunately very wealthy, so eventually they'll just pay off the loan with cash. Others will probably get a non-QM loan, maybe. There's probably some programs there for them. So different ways, I guess.
Well, I know with the Chinese, it's harder now because of restrictions and stuff like that. And right now,
don't tell me, brother.
Yeah,
don't tell me.
And then with the Mexican nationals, it's like right now a lot of them are looking for invest over here, in the U.S. because we have a saying in Mexico: when the U.S. gets a cold, Mexico gets the flu. In 2008, I said, in 2008 the U.S. got pneumonia, and then Mexico almost died. And this time around, I don't know how it's going to end, because it's pretty bad. But it's kind of interesting. Yesterday, I talked to some investors from Mexico City. I had a Zoom call, and they want to invest, some money over here in some commercial deals. They know that if they find the right commercial deal, I think one of the biggest, what do you call it? One of the biggest
challenges
areas are going to get hit in real estate right now. It's going to be commercial, retail.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah,
there's going to be some adjustments. It's like it's going to have to be some adjustments on the per square foot leases and all that stuff. But they said, hey, you know what? We just want to park our money. And I talked about diversification. Hey, if you have $2 million, get two places, put $1 million here, millions of dollars there, and you can get a hard money loan or something like that. Yeah. And then you got diversification on your investment. And they don't think like that. A lot of Mexico people, cash is king. Cash, we buy it. But if they can diversify, I think it's a good way to do it. So, I mean,
after 2008, man, it seemed like the world came to an end. And then, it didn't take very long. And here we are. It didn't take long for those values to come back. So, you know, I think everybody's praying these values drop so they can jump in and buy something. So I hope for those people they can, but right now it doesn't feel like they are going to drop that much if they do at all.
No, I don't think, you know, right now it's like I had a buyer, I think I was telling you, I had a buyer at $700,000. We finally put it on escrow yesterday. The crazy part is that we went through 4 offers, I think, with multiple offers every time.
Yeah.
So it just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, it's really, people always like, what do you think? Some areas it's going to adjust, some areas.
Sure. But we know the biggest problem we have is inventory, right? And people aren't really putting their properties on the market if they don't have to right now until waiting this gets over. So not enough inventory. So for those people selling, there's going to be multiple buyers.
Difference between 2008 and now, 2008 we had 20,000 listings. Now we have 5,000.
5,000 is the number?
Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
Well, that's like really, you know.
20,000 to 5. Wow. I mean, you can't, right? Think about that.
And remember in 2008, we were like going, oh my gosh, this is going to be a long, prolonged, and it was a long L-shaped recovery, like they're talking about The Economist.
And remember in 2008, though, to get a loan, that's why I got out of the industry, was just ridiculous. So people couldn't even get loans in 2008. Now, I mean, it's much better as far as that goes, that's for sure.
I have a question for you. Did you ever think we would get back to the same levels of pricing from 2000?
No, that's what I was just saying. Ever since that's happened, like, I just know, and everybody's hoping these values drop so they can buy something. And why wouldn't you, right? I mean, something's at 700 or 800 and goes down to 6 or 650, bang, jump all over it and buy it quickly, right? So, but just doesn't feel it's going to happen because there's not enough inventory, and then I just think people know better now.
Oh, completely. The true numbers, numbers that I've heard from some experts on it, they're saying that the 27% of the Americans owe their houses free and clear. 27%.
Wow.
That the average equity of an American is $127,000. That's your average equity in all the United States. And then we have $250 billion in equity in the United States. Compared to 2008, we had $850 billion of equity. But remember, everything got bought what? The Hummers, the Mercedes, the boats, all that stuff.
I got my Land Cruiser, brother. I still got my Land Cruiser. 280,000 miles on it.
Hey, I got my Liberty, man.
Here's an interesting, I was talking to a friend of mine today who bought a property in Texas. And he bought it in 2004. And he said from 2004 to 2015, he said that the value never really changed. It would go up a little bit, come down a little bit. And he says from 2015 to now, it's doubled.
Wow.
So, and this was like $150,000 property is now worth 300, but for 10 years, it just stayed at 150. It'd go up a little, just stay in that range. And then, so Texas is doing good. Well, it might be too late to buy now.
Well,
values are gone.
I was watching a webinar today regarding, some marketing and virtual and all stuff. And the guy from Austin, and he was comparing a house, $1.1 million in Austin. I'm like, oh, what? And he saw the house is central Austin, and then they flipped it. So they were going $850,000. He goes, it was pretty cool marketing. He goes, this is where you can finish product at 1.1 million, and this is buy, and he goes, you can finish that. But I was like, literally, man, Austin got to that price,
Yeah. Have you been to Austin?
Been to Austin. I went there once, I went
for the Notre Dame game?
Southwest by Southwest, no. I wanted to go to Notre Dame, Texas. That would have been a sweet one,
That'd be a good one.
It's
a beautiful place. Love that place. Yeah.
I have a question. So I know California is a lot of business that you get. What's your second state that you do most business?
I wouldn't say there is a second. It's really mostly here.
Mostly here?
Yeah, yeah. Arizona, let's say. I got deals in Arizona, and obviously on the West Coast. But, because I do my networking and marketing mostly, well, all of it here, obviously. So
Well,
San Diego's really.
I want to see that Rancho Ted plane, man, one of these days.
Now I get the Rancho Ted banner. The Rancho Ted banner flying. Well, it was supposed to fly down July 4th, but we're not going to have a July 4th.
Oh, you had it?
Yeah, I already. It cost $6,000 to get it. It's $400. I've already done it, man. I got it all sorted out. There's only one guy in the city that does it, and I'm connected to him. So, but I haven't bought it. No, I didn't buy it because everything's shut down. So I don't think there'll be a 4th of July like we had last year. Hope so.
You don't think? I don't know if we're going to celebrate 4th of July, the way things are going right now.
No, I think they'll shut down the beaches that day or something, so nobody catch the virus. Everybody piled in there.
So tell us about you. You do your stuff virtually. You have webinars. Tell us a little bit about more how the consumer can find out more about you and how we can help them out as well.
Sure. Well, I had my first webinar last week, and that was an adventure. Everything went wrong right when it was time to go on. It's unbelievable. You practice it 3 times, and then it's time, and there's no volume, and I can't hear anything. I'm thinking, you got to be kidding me. Can anything go wrong? So, but the one thing I do a lot of lunch and learns, at least at the SDAR, and I'm trying to do it at people's office. But my God, is it easier just to do a webinar for everybody? Nobody has to leave the office and save money on food. So,
yeah, right.
But what's that?
Well, it's funny, in our company, Central Award, we've seen a huge high increase on people going to our office meetings through Zoom.
Yeah.
Then into the office.
Yeah. And
crazy.
All these caravans out there. I mean, I sponsored one in Carlsbad, and again, I'm just here, and I'd have to drive all the way to Carlsbad from Little Italy. So how much time you save just by doing it. So no doubt this probably will change the industry some, but it's still building friendships, and that's big part of doing good business, when you start building the friendships with different realtors and mortgage brokers. So it's important to actually see them in person. But my God, it saved a lot of money on gas and time. So it's okay.
No, you're right. It's funny. Like I was telling my wife, Leslie, I go, well, yeah, we're saving money on gas. Well, everything's going up now because the kids eat even more. Like the finish breakfast, what's for lunch? The finished lunch, what's for dinner? It's like you feel like you've been. I in 20 years, 19 years, actually 19 years of doing real estate. This this last week. So I've been doing it, and I was laughing because I'm like, I've never worked from home. I'm an office guy. I'm a guy who goes to the office. So it's been a huge transition for me, trying to get used to work from home. Trying to my sanity, and you have the same issues, actually more issues right now with people that are. To give you an example, we had a deal where we had the tenants that agreed to everything, and then all of a sudden when the governor announced that, hey, you know what, we have a moratorium, they said, okay, we're not getting kicked out. So you have to think box in the situations right now, man. And
there's some bad scenes out there for different reasons like that. Yeah, and some good ones, I guess. I don't know, but mostly bad. But yeah, it's been a wild adventure so far, but it seems like we're starting to pull out of it a little bit, which is good. Can't wait, man. Can't wait. I need my sports, brother. I need my Red Sox. It's kind of about the Patriots. You don't bring up the Patriots. How come?
So I was on Twitter the other day because I've been on Twitter since it started, and I guess I got 2,000 followers. And
come on, you do?
Yeah.
Wow. Really?
I'm like going, wow. So and I was talking to my team, we need to start tweeting more and all that stuff because I'm looking at the digital formats and what we should do and all that stuff. The funny part is I saw Taiwan. So I'm like, hey, what's going on in Taiwan? So I check it out, and it was baseball. And there was a brawl with no fans, and in Taiwan they're playing, and they have cardboard people on the cardboard, people carved up on the cardboards like they're fans on the rows.
That is funny. Wow.
So I was sitting there and I was telling Nash, my son, I go, man, this is the way this might be the way of baseball. My company.
Oh, it's going to happen like that, I think, in the beginning. But real quick with Twitter, you have 2,000 followers, really.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really tweeted. I don't know.
I tweet. Tweet is more like a news. I'd see it more like a news type of platform. So I tweet. I've been tweeting stuff about statistics and stuff like that. But people have been following. It's been organically, literally, growing. So it's
really?
kind of so it's and doing the binational stuff. Doing conferences and stuff like that. Some people have asked for, hey, what's your Twitter? Because a lot of people internationally, it's not just about Instagram and Facebook.
Right.
More about Twitter. It's more of like a business type of deal.
Right.
So you got to go to Twitter, Rancho Ted, and start following me.
What do you think is the best way to get, is it Facebook? Is it LinkedIn? What do you think is the best way for real estate agents?
I think, here's what I think about what I've seen right now, especially the last, I've been not organizing, but reestablishing myself in social media and digital platforms. And what I've noticed, Ted, is like Twitter is underused for real estate.
Yeah, because I don't use it at all, and I don't know anybody who does. You're one of the few that 2,000. That's unbelievable.
Twitter, you can follow the Corcoran Group from New York. You can follow some other ones that are pretty large. Coldwell Banker, a guy from Beverly Hills, does it really well on Twitter. So they got, but it's the what you put. It's not the same thing. Like, hey, I'm taking my martini in the $9 million listing.
Right.
It's like people will follow facts and stuff like that on what's going on. Now, I think the other one that's very underused on real estate is LinkedIn. I
don't use that either, man.
So like LinkedIn,
yeah.
I think in LinkedIn I have like 3,000 followers. So it's kind of interesting. So I've been starting to use like the Sip and Learn today. I put it in there. I announced it and everything else because it's it's a webinar about learning and all that stuff. And a lot of people, I used to be in recruiting before real estate. I used to recruit medical device headhunter type of deal. And when LinkedIn came in, it was like, you remember Monster? Was it Monster? Was it the one for jobs on the Super Bowls they used to sponsor? I said Monster. I can't remember. It was a web came out that on the Monster board and all stuff. Look at the Monster jobs, and I think it was Monster. But anyway, LinkedIn came in and people were excited about it. So they used it more like a platform for recruiting. But I think it's a good one. Now, of course, Instagram is followed a lot. But interesting enough, I'm coaching, and our coach has been putting through some of great platforms out there and talking about statistics on social media. Listen to this one. Facebook right now has lost 70% of the revenue on Facebook ads. You know why? All the big companies pulled out. You know how you put all the big companies, all your Nikes, all your Macy's, all of them say, hey, we're going to keep our cash. So right now, doing Facebook ads, it's even cheaper. Doing Facebook ads is even cheaper compared to what it was, 2-3 months ago. Because remember how hey, I like, I'm sure I like my Boston Celtics, Jordans or something like that. And then everything starts showing up, right? On your, because of the cookies. But now it's like, you don't do that much. And I started noticing it. I'm like, wait a minute. So that's why I've been doing a lot of Facebook ads in Mexico and the US. That's some of the stuff that I've been doing. And also at the same time, the Instagram, I'm learning more as it goes along. Snapchat, I have no idea. Not even trying it.
So really, it's Facebook that's the number one. That's what I use, number one, because I know most realtors are on Facebook trying to promote their products, and I know all their friends are watching them. getting information. There's a lot of good stuff on there, and I know that I want to market to the realtors and mortgage brokers. So it seems like Facebook's the number one spot as far as
And the story. Are you doing stories?
No.
Like, trust me, the stories are the ones that people know what you're doing. If you put a story, I hear people saying all the time, "Hey, I heard you close this deal, or I heard you got this, or I heard,
Yeah.
your son's birthday," and it's pretty interesting. People what they're doing with their phone, because now more than ever, people are on their phone, their tablets, or their computer, right?
Yeah.
And they might be doing some work, to see what's going on Facebook. Boom. Now with all the Facebook lives, what are you watching your media? A lot of Facebook lives, when the president comes on, when the governor comes on, or the county supervisor.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
I think the people are really going to die are the what do you call the cable companies,
There's so many different ways now to get the TV through the phone. Still blows me away. I can watch my games on the phone, man. I can be anywhere now. I don't miss anything, which is great.
Whoever thought? What I miss too is soccer, man.
I thought the Germans were going to start. I thought the German league was supposed to start this weekend. No, next weekend.
Next weekend.
I think German start. I think May 8th, and I'm almost positive. So we can finally start watching some international stuff.
That's where Vegas is getting killed too. People love betting, and they'll bet on anything. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what, man. If I bet $20, I'll lose. If I bet $2, I got a better chance. So I just stay with the low bets. I lose. It's unbelievable. No matter what you do, you lose. It's just bet small. You can still be miserable, but at least you won't lose a lot of money.
Right. Well, Ted, what would you say to our audience right now that are listening through Facebook Live and Zoom and everything else? Top 3 things that, with your company, with Rancho Ted, they can help, you can help them out,
Sure.
With a situation or like that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, one thing we've done is a few good construction loans, and I'm sure that's not the easiest loan out there right now. So got some pretty good investors, and we're doing $1 million deals. So construction loans been a challenge, but there's even now or later, there's all situations, and some stupid 30-day late's going to kill a deal. So whatever it is, the credit, the income, obviously. Can't really particularly say a thing, but it's all over the board on why people need some kind of financing in a short period.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the things a lot of people are confused because it's the government says, hey, you can skip your mortgages, you can do this. It's crazy. Fannie Mae saying 12 months. Are you kidding me? But the problem, the consumer doesn't understand. If they do that, the new underwriting process is going to say, that's fine. It didn't hit your credit. It didn't hit all stuff. Let me see your 12 months worth of bank statement. What do you call it? Mortgage statements. And it's going to show up right there. And they're going to say, sorry, can't get you a loan.
I'll tell you what, I just want to give hats off to all those mortgage brokers out there and processors. That is one hard job, and I used to do it. And God bless you for helping all these people out, because that is not an easy job.
No, man, I know what you're saying. Well, Rancho Ted, man, it's we've been neighbors. Soccer, we love them. Love it. U.S.-Mexico games, Yankees.
Yeah.
Look at that, U.S. Mexico and Yankees versus Red Sox, and we can get along, right?
Yeah, when I used to go watch the U.S.-Mexico at Jack Murphy, Qualcomm, whatever it's called. Those are wild games, man. U.S.-Mexico. Those things are crazy, but it was filled with all Mexicans, Actually, it was the Mexicans versus China. They were playing all these internationals, and I'd go and bet $20 on the Mexican team, and I'd be going crazy with them, and we'd always win, man. I'd always just be like a 1.5 favorite and win by 2, and we're all celebrating together, man.
Remember in the early 90s when Mexico had its first game against the U.S., and it was right here at Jack Murphy back then. And I lived on the other side of Mission Valley. My condo was right there. It was like by McGregor's. You know, you just walk over the bridge, and then all the Mexican people were like, "Hey, the game's gonna start," and they'll park on the 15 freeway.
On the 805, man. They parked 805. And then the crazy thing was the U.S. didn't understand how it worked, and everybody brought in their flags with sticks. So everybody had all these, sticks that they learned no more after this one. So
remember that? Yeah, they said, "Oh,
yeah, it was unbelievable."
Go with Mexico, and like they're crossing. I see them crossing the freeway, and then
it was unbelievable. It was so cool. And you guys, that Mexican goalie, he was a small guy, man. He was amazing. The World Cup guy that I don't know his name, but what is it?
Campos.
Yeah, Campos.
Yeah, man.
I remember him, man.
Yeah, so like it's really some good times. Well, Ted, thanks a lot for giving us the time. RanchoTed.com is where you guys can get a hold of him. He is really very active in the community, in the industry, and everything else because he's very knowledgeable. And like I said, I've done actually, I forgot to give you guys an idea. One loan that we did have a client from Mexico, international, and he had a contract with Disneyland, and he needed $1 million to start this type of product that he was selling to Disneyland. I called Rancho Ted. I'm all, Ted, hey man, I got the situation. We looked at it. He had the assets, he had everything, and we were able to do the loan. And it was like pretty smooth, pretty easy. And actually, it's solution oriented. I think because the longer you're in the industry in real estate, you're not just in real estate, you become people's consultant. Because you sold them one of the biggest investments. Later on, they want you to help them out on different ideas. So that's why I wanted to have you here and Sip and Learn San Diego and let people know, because I think it's good for the consumer that we have those avenues for people to be able to come in and get loans. Get loans from that part.
Sooner or later, you'll need some private money lending. So you just don't know when.
Say that again. Yeah. So Ted, thanks a lot. Any last words?
No. Enjoyed it, man. Luis, I didn't expect to have so much fun.
You thought I was going to bring up how many?
I didn't know what you were going to do, man. I was worried.
Yankees.
I couldn't sleep last night. I was like all day thinking about this. Like, what's he going to do?
Hey, by the way, it was your birthday 2 days ago, right?
Yes.
April 28th?
That's right, man.
You more. That's Nash's birthday.
It's what?
The 28th.
Is whose? Is what?
His birthday.
Nash's, you said?
Nash's birthday is the 28th.
Okay, breaking up. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right.
So like it's really, I saw that. I'm all, man, I like Teddy even more now. You
see that picture on Facebook? That looked like we were at the W Hotel back in the day.
Yeah. What's going on with that hotel, man? Remember those days?
I don't know. I haven't been there in a while.
The W Hotel. All right, Ted. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining us. Sip and Learn San Diego will be here next week at 4 o'clock. Like I said, our commitment from Luis Mendoza and Associates is we're going to bring somebody in the industry or in the area that it's making changes and helping out throughout the crisis. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to you later. Ted, thanks a lot, bud. Have a good one.
All right, Luis. Have a good one, brother. Good job, man.
Thanks.